Okay guys, we're going to continue with the lessons for the Burr puzzle project. We've got our parts all drawn now, and we've got to create some CNC tool paths, what this class is all about. So I've got part B open right now, and we need to create a tool path to cut out these two slots. But the first thing we need to do is to create an origin, and I'm going to put my origin back here, which is the back corner of the vise that we want to use. So we're going to do that by going to Features, go to Reference Geometry, and create a coordinate system. I'm going to select that corner right there. I'm going to tell it that the x-axis is going to go in this direction, and it's already corrected it for me. The y-axis is going that way. If it wasn't, I could click here and tell it that I want this to be the y-axis, which I do, and hit OK. If for some reason your triad here is pointing in the wrong direction, you can click on these arrows and get it correct. So we want positive x to be the right, positive y to be away from us, positive z to be going up. So now we have our coordinate system set. Next, we're going to go ahead and go into the CAM tab, which is over here, and we're going to start a new job. So I like to keep, in many cases, the stock size relative to the part. In many cases, though, it's going to be something different. It's going to be bigger than the part, and we can change that, but we're going to leave that as relative size box. Okay. The coordinate system, it defaulted right to my coordinate 1 system. If it wasn't there, you could click over here and come in here, and for example, I'll clear that selection, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick it. All right, so that I have the correct coordinate system set. We're going to be doing a milling operation. Going to hit OK. All right, so now we want to get into our tool paths. So we're going to go to 2D milling. Really like the adaptive clearing method. It's a fast way to remove material. So we're going to go with 2D adaptive clearing. And the first thing you do in any of these operations is select what tool you're going to use. Now I'm going to click library, and some of you may not have the library, so I'm going to show you how to get there. You're going to go to My Libraries. You're going to go right click and say New Library, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to put today's date. Today's the 10th, I think. Okay. In here, I'm going to right click and say Import Tools from an existing library. All right, the tricky part is finding that library. So it's buried deep in the Student Share folder. So I'm going to take you there. Student Share. In Student Share, we're going to go to LOLHS. In LOLHS, we're going to go to Dairy, Resources, and then HSM Works Tool Library. The one we want is this guy right here. This is our most recent library. If you look at it, this was created in March of this year. So I'm going to double click on that guy and hit select. Whoops. I'm sorry, I just loaded it. Now we got to pick the tool. The tool we're going to use for this job is tool number 1, which is a 1/4 inch end mill. I'm going to hit select. We're going to leave these speeds and feeds alone. These are actually ideal for aluminum, but it's not going to take that long to cut these two slots, so I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to go to this guy now. And okay, once we're in here for geometry, we have to decide what we're going to cut and what we're going to leave. So, and this is important that we select the right ones here. So we want our contours is what we're going to leave here, or excuse me, what we're going to take away, which is going to be these two. And this guy is what we want to leave. We want to keep our model intact. All right, so we're going to deselect machine cavities. You may have had that selected, so that's good there. Over here, it's already selected to that face from selection. I want to make sure you go to selection and pick that surface. Whoops. Pick that surface. You can see that the blue plane drops down here. That's the depth of our cut. We're going to go over here, adaptive clearing. That's set well. Yours is probably selected on stock to leave. If you were to leave this, you would end up with 20 thousandths on the bottom and 20 thousandths on either side. So your slot would be 40 thousandths too narrow. Make sure you deselect that. That's for finishing operations. We'll talk more about that later in the course. This one, there's no changes to make. This has to do with the way the bit enters into the work. So I'm going to hit OK. It should generate our toolpath for us, and we can see that it's going to come in here and take these away. Now it's coming in from the back side, so we want to make sure that our part is sticking far enough out of the vise, because it's going to come right down in here, come in, cut it out, it's going to go up, over, come from the back side again and cut this side. So let's take a look to see what that is going to actually look like. So I'm going to go to stock simulation, hit play, and I can speed that up a little bit. Looks pretty good. All right, if you want, sometimes I play this stock simulation as well. It's a different one where it just shows the bit and shows the path without the material. Those blue lines represent each movement of your bit. I had a student asking today, how does the machine know whether it's going to hit something? It doesn't. So you as the operator need to make sure that these yellow lines and blue lines, there's nothing in the way. There's no hold downs, there's no vise parts that it could hit into, or anything else that might be in the way. So that's where the tool is going to move through. Looks pretty good to me, so we're going to go to post-process. All right, you need to give it a location. I'm going to put it in my puzzle folder. All right. Hit open and give it a name. We can call it, this is, I would say, last name, first initial, and this is part B. We can even go further and say 2 slots. And hit post. Our G code's going to come up. So Dairy W, part B, 2 slots. We're good. Sometimes I put the bit in there, but on the Tormach it's going to call for tool number 1 and it's going to tell us what that bit is right there. So we're all set. Now we got to get that on a flash drive and bring it over to the Tormach.